Holly Wilson, and I'm here to exhibit my new body of work at Bonner David Galleries in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I hope you'll come by and have a look at the new pieces. For me, making pieces is about telling stories. And I pride myself on being able to tell a story through visuals of things that I find in nature as well as people. Some of the different pieces that I'm working with in this exhibition currently, I have a little girl, and she's, if you remember when you were small and you'd pick up the dandelion and you'd blow and you'd make a wish and all the little pieces would fly out into space, it's that idea that it's called Carried in the Winds. And what I love about it is it's not just the dandelion she's picking up. There's leaves and flowers and seed pods and sticks, and she's hovering in the sky because her wish is so big. And I think so much of the time that our wishes are so big that we don't let ourselves dream these big, amazing things. And so that piece kind of is this idea that I didn't just blow a dandelion, I blew everything in nature, and it's going out, and those are the dreams that I'm hoping for. So this is Falling Down the Rabbit Hole. I've always loved that idea of Alice in Wonderland and how she goes and everything is topsy-turvy and it's scary and it's exciting, but it's this other world kind of aspect, and that's what this is. So it's this little girl, and she has her bunny hat on, so it's almost an intersection between her and the rabbit she's chasing, and she's falling down this rabbit hole. A piece like this, though it's all bronze, these are actually sticks from nature that I sprue and then cast. And then the figure is the same thing. It's directly sculpted in wax, and it's cast as a one of a kind. I'm Delaware and Cherokee, and I grew up with my mom telling us stories about our heritage. One that she told us that stuck with me for the longest was about the Cigar Figures. The story of these people that would run through the night and call your name, and they were called stick people. And if you went with them, you were never heard from again. So I started making molds of the cigars, and then the legs are made of real sticks. And what I tried to do is take that idea of this kind of dark, scary story that was part of my heritage, but then reinterpret it into something that had meaning for me. In the end, these pieces are called Cigar Figures, and they're more a way of celebrating family. So on The Gathering, the whole story is about returning home to Cherokee. So we were part of the Trail of Tears, the Cherokee Nation and the Delaware. We were marched out of our homelands to Oklahoma. And it's this idea of returning back to the mountain. And so you see 7 figures going up the mountain, returning home. Interwoven dragon, it's again that idea of family, but on the head of this big, beautiful piece of wood, when a storm came and blew this tree down in our yard, and when it ripped the wood, it literally turned it to where it frayed the end of this piece of cedar, and it was so beautiful that when we were cutting it down, I immediately saw the head of a dragon. The idea of interweaving the family stories with the historical stories together. You see the stories of the family on the top, and then you see the life of the tree below, and so it's that idea of interweaving both nature and man together and finding a way to be in one. Paper Wings began as actually a drawing, an illustration I did on a birthday card years ago for my niece and nephew. And it was this idea of thinking of, if I was a child and I had to make wings to fly, what would they look like? And so a kid would not make wings with feather. They would use paper and sticks, and they'd tape them together and they'd wrap them up. And Paper Wings is really this intersection between our childhood and our adulthood, and trying to find that marriage in between. And so it's Paper Wings, Fearless. And she is standing on the end of this table leg, stepping out into the abyss to step and fly. And all she has is the paper wings she's made and this bird mask. And so the masks for me and all of the pieces that I do actually represent the idea of personas. And for me, I look at that as being able to tap into something that you need for strength. So she's made this mask and she's made these wings, but it's that intersection between being a child and feeling fearless and that we're never going to die and nothing will ever touch us, and then being that adult and knowing how scary that edge is. And so it's that moment of release. One of the new things I have in the show is actually smaller pieces. I was looking at trying to make something that's just this vignette of an idea. So I kind of played with some of those commentaries for these pieces. So there's 5 of them, and one of them is idle hands. So it's that idea of these hands coming out of the wall, and you see this little devil crown, and at the same time you see the dirt on the hands, and there's so many connotations that you can put into that, but it's playing on that. Is it dirt? Is it something that has horrible has happened? But it's really tapping into that unknown, imaginary place. A lot of my work always has what I would call like an undercurrent that carries the heritage and the stories of my family and where I come from, and then I lay over what's important to me on top of that, and then there's always this other element that I think goes on top of that, and that's the part where the viewer lays their story.